I got a new model kit. This is X in his normal armor. So I'm just gonna put this together. Alrighty. This should be easier than the Force armor. And I'm putting my camera at a different angle this time just to see if that gives a better view of putting this all together. Welcome to another model kit building video. Just like with the Lucario video, I filmed this last year in 2023, but it's only now in 2024 that I'm finally getting around to posting these. Sorry for procrastinating. This is regular Armor X, which will be one of the simpler Mega Man model kits to do, since this doesn't have so many extraneous parts. I started off with building the charge shot here since it's easy, and this one is much simpler than the Force Armor's gigantic plasma charge shot. Get used to seeing this particular charge shot I'm building because the same model is reused but recolored for two other Mega Man model kits I'll be building in the future. I wonder if there's a reason the charge shot was redesigned across the games, like it was blue in the Super NES games, and then it was changed to green in the PlayStation games, and then on PlayStation 2, on X7 and X8, it was changed back to blue. So, I wonder why it kept changing color. Who knows? Oh well. There we are. You know, the cluster shot. I think that's all of them. Next I did the hands because those are also an easy part. Just the top and bottom of each hand and a ball joint hand, that's it. This model kit comes with 3 pairs of hands for different expressions. And the next model kit I'll build, the Blade Armor, gives me a 4th pair of hands that allows Unarmored X to hold Zero's Z-Saber. A bit of foreshadowing for my next video. I guess I'll talk about my history with the Mega Man games a bit. The first one I played was Mega Man 4 in the Game Boy. I did not own an NES to play the original 8-bit Mega Man games. The second Mega Man game I owned was Mega Man X1 on the Super NES. So that would have been the first console Mega Man game that I owned. And that was the one Mega Man game that I played the most. I did not play any of the original NES games until I got the Anniversary Collection on GameCube. And that also had Mega Man 7 and Mega Man 8 plus the 2 arcade games. I didn't get to play the other X games except X4. I played that with a friend until I got that series Anniversary Collection also on GameCube, and then the Legacy Collection to play X7 and X8. That's the last hand. There we are. I have a handful of hands. Look at that. I usually choose the closed fist hands put on my figurines when I display them, but I'm not sure why I do that. I guess the closed fists look tougher to me or something. Here I am building X's Buster, and I chose to do it next because it's another easy part to construct that I wanted to get out of the way. This one is much simpler to put together compared to the Force Armor or Buster or Zero's Buster. Despite being simpler though, I made a mistake putting in a part in the wrong way that goes between the two halves, and it prevented me from putting the two halves together of the Buster. So I'll slow the video down here to show off when I realized my mistake and fixed it, and then I could close the Buster together. Just make sure. Oh. Wow. Oh, I see. How... Yeah, the instructions made it look like you put it in this particular piece one way, but then I realized an exclamation point is telling you to put it in like upside down. So now the X-Buster went together well. There we go. Next up, I'm building X's head. This is another straightforward part, and is much less complicated compared to the helmet for the Force Armor. I guess I'll pick up where I was talking about how when I first played the NES Mega Man games on the Anniversary Collection on GameCube. Since I started with Mega Man 4 on Game Boy, which had a shop, charging and sliding, and the X games had hidden upgrades with the armor parts and heart tanks, it was really jarring playing Mega Man 1 and 2 for the first time and finding out all those features weren't in the first 2 games. Sliding was added in Mega Man 3, charge shots were added in the 4th game, and now while there were utility items from the beginning like the Magnet Beam, the numbered items, and Rush, Mega Man 4 had optional upgrades that could be found like the balloon and wire adapters, and that could be seen as a precursor to finding, things like hidden armor capsules. And the shop wasn't added to the console games until Mega Man 7. So playing the NES games gave me a better appreciation for how the series evolved and why the X series was seen as such a breath of fresh air after we had 6 very similar games released on the NES, and now you have Mega Man, all powered up on 16-bit. That ups the gameplay and presentation greatly. You've all probably seen the sequelitis video comparing 8-bit Mega Man to the first X game, so I don't have to repeat everything that video says. Every Mega Man fan's probably seen it by now. X has to get ahead in life. Camera's kind of... There we go. Okay. Let's build X's body now. I remember the first time I played Mega Man X as a kid, and I was obviously really bad at it since I was so young. The most I could do was get the leg parts in Chill Penguin stage, since that's one of the few mandatory upgrades in the game, and it took me a really long time to actually beat that stage and get Shotgun Ice for the first time. At that age, it felt like a real accomplishment just to beat one boss, and I wasn't able to beat the game until an issue of Nintendo Power I got explained to me where to find the armor pieces and what the boss order was supposed to be. Sorry I didn't beat the game legit. I also never beat Mega Man 4 on Game Boy as a kid. The farthest I ever got was beating Ballad's first battle, and then getting stuck on the Mega Man 5 bosses in the second half of the game. So I didn't beat that game legit either. Again, it looks kind of like a face with the little slots. Unfortunately, I lost Mega Man 4 and a bunch of my other Game Boy games because I was an irresponsible kid, which is why I'm very grateful that Nintendo added all 5 of the Mega Man Game Boy games to the Switch, so we finally got the missing Mega Man Mania Game Boy compilation 20 years too late. So for a long time, Mega Man X1 was the only Mega Man game I played as a kid, until I played Mega Man X4 on a friend's Sega Saturn, so I missed out on X2 and X3. You'll see here X's body came out a bit crooked, and so I had to take it apart and put it together again to straighten it out. I'll slow down the video again so you can see what I'm talking about here. I got this fixed the best I could, so back in this goes. There we are. Here I am now building X's underwear. The torso still looks a bit crooked to me though, particularly with the chest. I'm not sure if I made a mistake building the chest, or if I just didn't do a good enough job posing the figurine straight. Come to think of it, maybe people wouldn't have noticed it's crooked if I didn't say anything about it. Okay, forget I said anything about X's body being crooked. Now I'm going to construct X's arms. Partway while filming this, my phone ran out of memory, so I had to switch to my Sony camera, and then I had to switch back to filming on my phone at the end because my Sony camera ran out of battery. I had to clear out a bit of memory on my iPhone. After this video, the rest of my model kit videos are going to be filmed only with my Sony camera, just because it's got better audio, and I don't have to worry about running out of space on my phone. Playing X4 for the first time, it was pretty cool to see an X game with much better graphics and voice acting for the first time. Yes, I know people rag on the bad 90s anime dub, but playing the game as an 8-year-old back in 1997, I didn't care about that. It was just awesome to hear, here's Mario talking in Super Mario 64, and here's X and Zero talking in X4. So it was pretty mind-blowing to me back then. Plus, I thought Zero was a girl robot because of the long hair, so hearing him with a male voice was also pretty surprising to me as an 8-year-old. Okay, I'm switching to a different camera now. My cell phone just ran out of memory. My Sony camera, it has issues sometimes focusing, but hopefully it works out for the rest of the video that I want to make. Okay. Now I'm continuing the arms. I think I had a little trouble in the shoulder pads and trying to make them fit tightly, because I don't think I cut the runners off very well. Looking at the kit more closely after I finished it, I see there's a lot of runners all over X that I could have done a better job on removing. At the time I was still kind of new to using the clippers and X-Acto knife to shave off the little runners that are left over from cutting these pieces off of the racks they were part of. So these first couple model kits I build may not be as clean cut as the later ones I do. I do have to be careful not to cut myself or damage the part I'm cutting, so maybe I should look into better tools sometime. I'd especially like a more precise cutting knife that I could use. Now I'm finally building the legs. You'll notice that when I construct the arms and legs, I usually do both of them at the same time rather than do the left side first and then the right one after. I just want to get all the building done faster and go through the remaining parts quicker. I just feel a sense of satisfaction when I'm finished with each rack of parts and seeing the number of remaining parts get smaller and smaller as I get closer to finishing the figurine. So for many years, X1 and X4 were the only X games I played, and I didn't get to play 2, 3, 5, and 6 until the X Anniversary Collection on GameCube came out. Oh yeah, and also Mega Man Battle and Chase. I can't forget that was also on the Anniversary Collection as well for some strange reason. The Anniversary Collection didn't include X7 or X8, so I had to wait for the Legacy Collection a few years later to play those. Now I know the pain Mega Man fans felt trying to play X7 finally. And I didn't get to play the Game Boy Color games, Extreme 1 and Extreme 2, until those were released on the 3DS Virtual Console. I finished the first Extreme game, but didn't finish Extreme 2 just because I lost interest. And now my 3DS is dead, so I can't even finish it, even if I wanted to, unless I decide to emulate it or do something else that would make Nintendo and Capcom cry. I have not yet played Command Mission, Maverick Hunter X, or X-Dive. I do wish Command Mission and the Extreme games were included on the second Legacy Collection, just to lessen the pain of X6 and X7 being in that collection together. I'll tell you what I thought of X6 when I construct the blade armor, which will be my next video. And I haven't gone into too much detail about what it was like playing the first X game because I want to save those details for another future video where I build X's first armor. And if I ever get model kits of the second armor, the Max armor, and the Falcon armor, then I'll go into detail about what it was like the first times I played X2, X3, and X5. There's actually model kits for both the regular Max armor and the golden version, so I'm not sure what I would talk about if I did two separate videos about those armors. I don't want to front load all my memories and opinions on every X game into one video and then not have anything else to say about them in future model kit videos, so that's why I'm spreading them out. Okay, so the legs are nearing completion, so I'll slow down the video back to normal speed and you can watch the final assemblage. I hope you all enjoyed these time-lapse segments and listening to the sound of my voice drone on. So back to normal speed now. There's X's legs, but where's the rest of X? Well, time to do the full assemblage. Okay, so Zero has found all of X's discarded parts and he's not happy at all. What am I fighting for? Quit your whining, Zero. We'll put X all back together. Alright. Let's see. Whoop. I want that to roll away. Okay, so make sure I got the legs. We'll just... Yeah. Okay, there we go. I'm afraid the chest might be a bit crooked, I don't know. Okay. This part of the pelvis is kind of a bit... I had some bad luck towards the end. My Sony camera ran out of battery, so I filmed with my phone after clearing enough memory. And then my microphone audio came out sounding bad and scratchy, so I'll switch to the phone audio, which sounds kind of muffled, but at least it doesn't have an annoying buzzing noise throughout. I'll try to minimize technical muck-ups in my upcoming model kit videos. Make sure loose.
Like, wow, I'm all repaired.
Okay, X looks a little crooked, but I'll try my best fixing it later. Anyway, look at this. It's a happy reunion. X is going to hug Zero in a really awkward way. And Zero's like, "Hey, X, don't have your X-Buster out like that. That's not safe." Later might get a bit jealous if she saw this. But then... Uh-oh. Zero is seeing double now. Is he going crazy? So who's the real X? Is this a trick from Sigma? Or maybe it's Axel copying X's force armor just to mess with everyone? Well, it's going to get much worse because soon Zero is going to start seeing triple. Yep, I am doing the blade armor next. And I'm going to talk about the mess that is X6. Oh boy. Stay tuned. GuineaPigDan out.